Hello and welcome to Matt Loves Eurovision. It's my Eurovision 2024 Top 37 countdown. It's place number 35. It's Iceland, Hera Björk and Scared of Heights. Please do click on the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and as always, like, share and comment below. So Iceland is the first Nordic country in my countdown this year, and was in fact also the lowest ranked Nordic country in my countdown last year as well. They're also the first of two countries this year that have returning artists, and for Iceland it's the return of their 2010 entry Hera Björk now. Will she be able to make her way to the final once again? Now, Hera won the Icelandic national final this year in somewhat perhaps controversial circumstances to a certain extent, although it wasn't anything to do with Hera herself. There were some issues with the voting, so there were some voting irregularities, though I understand, also the broadcasters reassured us that the result would not have changed because of any issues with those with the voting irregularities, some of the voting issues that people had with voting for certain things. So it would have remained the same with the two super finalists that they had. The other super finalist being an LGBT Palestinian singer, and obviously with that there were quite a number of conspiracy theories abounded. I think there were, particularly in the non-Eurofan media, the mainstream media had somehow got it into their heads that sort of Bashar Murad had already won the selection and would be Iceland's entry, but they hadn't quite understood what happens in a national selection. Ultimately, actually, what Bashar fell foul of was the super final format, where the top two songs from the selection of finalists go through to a super final. And in those kinds of circumstances where you have a super final, and Iceland's not the only other country to use a super final. Estonia use a super final. Norway use a super final, as do Denmark. But where it's I think Norway's the only one that has it as where it's just two. But when you have just two acts reaching a super final, it is possible to almost vote against the other one by voting for the other one. So, and I think that's probably what happened in this particular case. I don't think it's an ideal way of doing a national section, but broadcasters are free to do national sections in the way that they see fit. And by Song of the Keppen's rules, Hera won, and so it will be Scared of Heights that we will see at the contest. Now, of course, Hera, as I said, she's a returning artist. She's no stranger to Eurovision. She was a backing singer in 2009 for Iceland's runner-up entry, Is It True, with Johanna. And then, of course, she was back in 2010 with Je ne sais quoi. Now, Je ne sais quoi was an entry many expected to get at least a top 10, but in the end it was more popular with Eurofans in the bubble, and ultimately finished 19th in the final. Far too low, in my opinion. I thought it was a great song. But since 2010, she spent quite a bit of her time in Chile. 2013, she won the Vina del Mar International Song Festival there. She's also performed at Eurofest at the Vauxhall Tavern some years ago, which was great. It was lovely, and she spent a lot of time outside, signing. I think it was probably CDs and pictures and stuff like that. She was very lovely. And she's also tried again for the contest in 2019 in the Icelandic selection, but it was this year that she finally go back to Eurovision. So is Scared of Heights a new Je ne sais quoi? Well, to put it bluntly, no. It's a perfectly catchy and bouncy song, but it is very dated. And you could easily close your eyes and think you were probably listening to a UK national selection song from some years ago. It's also, as many people have commented without prompting, the chorus is very similar to James Newman's Embers for it, which was the UK entry in 2021. If you sing along the chorus to Embers to the tune of Scared of Heights, it's very close. It's very similar. Not plagiarism, but they just sort of match. And I think therein lies one of the issues for the song. It just doesn't sound that kind of cutting edge. She's a great singer and she's a good performer. But I just don't think this song really is making the most of her abilities. I say it's not a bad song, very positive, up-tempo. It's easy on the ear. You can listen to it on Spotify or in the club and enjoy it. And I think it will, certainly it's appealing to some people. But will that appeal be broad enough to get the votes to make it into the final? Now, much as that I love Hera, and I loved that 2010 entry, I just don't think this is going to make the Saturday evening show. Its chances were already pretty slim, I think, before the semi-final running order came out, and that I think was really a nail in the coffin of Hera's chances to get to the final, because Iceland will be performing immediately after one of the big crowd favourites and potentially very public vote friendly Croatia. It's also in the scoreboard app, the Eurovision scoreboard app. Again, not always a predictor of how things will do, but as you can see, it is sitting very near the bottom. And at times it has been in last place. It sort of chops and changes around with Moldova, but that is not a position you want to be in if you want to feel like you're likely to qualify for the final. We've been waiting for a first Icelandic win since 1986, when they first entered Eurovision, and I'm afraid that wait will go on another year. But do let me know what you think of the song and how do you think it will do, and join me next time as we carry on with the countdown. Take care.